between the SDF and the United States must continue. We need a small group of capable American forces working with the SDF on the ground in Syria, plus maintaining control of the skies. My biggest concern is that the 10,000, 12,000 ISIS prisoners, every day that goes by, it gets more tenuous in terms of their security. I blame Turkey more than anyone. The Turkish invasion has put at risk the defeat of the caliphate. It's paving the way for the reemergence of ISIS. That is to our national security detriment. And we will continue to work in a bipartisan fashion to gather sponsors for our sanctions legislation. Finally, how does this end? We need a demilitarized zone between Turkey and the SDF that's monitored by international forces. We need a continued partnership with the SDF on the ground to make sure ISIS does not come back. We need to guard the oil fields in the south and modernize them so Iran doesn't take over. All of this is possible only if we can get Turkey to stand down. I am optimistic the administration is beginning to make some adjustments that may end the bloodshed sooner rather than later. I do not trust Turkey to maintain control over the ISIS fighters. I do trust the SDF based on their track record. This is an unusual issue in the sense that it has brought the Congress together. There's wide and deep appreciation and bipartisan support for not abandoning the SDF. And Senator Blackburn from Tennessee has been the loudest voice on our side, and I appreciate it. Chris and all of our colleagues here. We will continue to do what we need to do to get the right answer.
Now let me turn it over to Ilham Ahmed. As I said, she's the president of the Syrian Democratic Council. She met earlier with President Macron in France. She's here to call upon the Congress to act in a bipartisan manner. She'll be meeting with administration officials to try to deal with the urgent matter. And as I turn it over to her, and then we're going to hear from our other colleagues, I just want to underscore what Senator Graham said, the appreciation of the American people for the fact that over 11,000 members of the Syrian Democratic Forces, Syrian Kurds, and who are allies in the region in the fight against ISIS. ISIS is down, but they've never been out. And there's a real danger that they will now come back. So thank you for being here on this mission, and I think all of us as members of the Senate on a bipartisan basis are committing that we will do everything in our power to end the slaughter and prevent the resurgence of ISIS. So
أشكركم وأشكر الشعب الأمريكي الذي وقف إلى جانبنا في هذه اللحظات العصيبة.
I would like to thank you and thank the American people who stood beside us in this critical moment.
وأشكر أعضاء الكونغرس بشكل عام من ساندنا.
And I would thank the people, the House of Representatives and the Senate as well.
بالطبع نحن نمر في لحظات عصيبة في هذه المرحلة.
We are going through very critical times.
أنا هنا أمثل شعبي وأمثل مجلسي لأتحدث عن ما يعانون منه الآن.
I'm here representing my people, representing the Syrian Democratic Council to tell you about the suffering they are going through.
قرار الانسحاب الأمريكي المفاجئ حقيقة أذان كثيرا.
The announcement of the surprising announcement of the withdrawal of the forces really harmed us.
حيث عرض أمن مناطقنا لحرب دمرت كل شيء موجود في المنطقة.
We were exposed to war that destroyed everything after the announcement.
تركيا حاليا تهاجمنا وتعرضنا لتطهير عرقي.
Turkey is attacking us currently and we are subjected to ethnic cleansing.
وهي ناوية على الاستمرار بهذه المعركة.
And they have the intention to complete in their policy.
فهي تتحدث عن خارطة تبدأ من منبج إلى ديرك الحدود العراقية.
They are speaking about a map. They will not be satisfied until they link Manbij all the way to the Iraqi-Turkish-Syrian border.
والمنطقة التي تتحدث عنها تتجاوز 30 كيلومتر.
And the areas they are speaking about it goes beyond 30 kilometers.
أي بأنها لا تنحصر بين منطقتين مدينتين تل أبيض ورأس العين.
So it's not limited only to the area between Tel Abyad and Ras Al Ain, the last captured cities by.
فالاتفاقية التي تم الإمضاء عليها لا توجد فيها حدود معينة.
The agreement that the Turks and the Americans signed on doesn't put limitation to Turkey.
قبلنا وقف إطلاق النار بهدف حماية المدنيين.
We only agreed with a ceasefire because we want to protect our civilians.
لكن هذا لا يعني بالحفاظ على الوجود التركي داخل أراضينا.
That doesn't mean that we acknowledge the Turkish occupation in our areas.
الوجود التركي يعني احتلال.
The Turkish present in our area is occupation.
وهذا غير مقبول بالنسبة من طرف شعبنا.
And our people would not accept that.
لذلك نطالب.
This is why we are.
بأن تكون هناك منطقة حظر طيران.
This is why we need a no-fly zone in our area.
وإنهاء الاحتلال التركي.
And to end the Turkish occupation.
وأن تكون هناك قوات أممية على الحدود.
We need international forces to be on the border to protect.
تحمينا من الهجوم التركي.
That could protect us from any Turkish.
وتحافظ على السلم الدولي.
And to keep also the international stability.
كما أننا نطالب بإنقاذ شعبنا من التطهير العرقي.
Our people are ready. Will go through ethnic cleansing.
هذا ما وعدتنا به الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية والمسؤولين بشكل مستمر.
We have always been promised by the United States, by U.S. officials, that you will not be subjected to genocide or ethnic cleansing.
ونطالبها بأن تلتزم بعهودها وتعهداتها.
We only want them to keep their promises. They give us a lot of promises.
كما أننا نطالب بأن يتم دعمنا ومساعدتنا في الحفاظ على الاستقرار في المنطقة.
We also asking to keep supporting us to keep the stability in the area.
فهناك داعش آخر يظهر مرة أخرى في المنطقة.
Another ISIS is emerging.
تركيا من أتت به من فصائل تسميه الجيش الوطني الحر إلا أنهم حقيقة هم دواعش.
The so-called Free Syrian Army or Syrian National Army are jihadists, former members of ISIS. They're attacking our areas.
هم قاموا بالإعدامات الميدانية.
They publicly executed people.
قتلوا أطفالنا والسياسيين.
They killed our kids and our politicians.
هافرين خلف من إحدى السياسيات الكرديات.
The women leader Hevrin Khalaf is among the most famous Kurdish leaders.
أعدموها بشكل وحشي.
And they brutally killed her.
وهم من يفرضون الأتوات على سكان المنطقة.
They ask people for taxes. They always take money from people.
ويقومون بإفراغ المنطقة من سكانها الأصليين بشكل نهائي.
And they target the indigenous population in the area. They want us to leave, so the other minorities.
ويهددون بالذبح.
They publicly threaten us and slaughter. They use the word slaughter.
فهذا هو داعش الجديد.
This is the new ISIS we're seeing now.
لذلك لابد من مناهضته ومحاربته.
We should really work to counter these groups.
وعدم السماح لظهور داعش.
And we should not allow ISIS to emerge again.
من خلال الاستمرار بالتعاون المستمر بيننا وبين الولايات المتحدة.
And this can only happen when we continue our partnership with the United States of America.
للحفاظ على الدواعش الموجودين في
And
المنطقة.
also to keep guarding the ISIS prisoners in our areas.
لإنقاذ الدول أيضا أو الإنسانية من إرهاب داعش.
It's not only, we are not only helping ourselves, we're rescuing the whole human beings from ISIS and the terrorism of ISIS.
هذا ما نتمناه من الولايات المتحدة.
This is what we hope from our colleagues in the United States of America.
بأن تراجع قراراتها.
That this decision could be reviewed or modified.
وتنقذ سكان المنطقة من عملية إبادة عقل.
And help save the people of our region from another genocide.
Thank you for being here on behalf of your people. I'm now going to ask Senator Blackburn and then Senator Shedid and then Senator Blumenthal.
Yes, I want to thank Ilham Ahmed for her leadership and her courage. My goodness gracious. You've been so steadfast, and the Kurdish people have been so steadfast in this fight, and it is so important that we realize that and that we honor that, and how they're doing their best, as you have heard her say, securing the airspace, having that no-fly zone, securing these camps where these ISIS fighters are being held, making certain that Turkey is out of this safe zone so that the Kurdish and the SDF, so that they are going to be safe in this area. That is something vitally important. They have depended on us for that because we have assured them that we would be there. So it is important for us to make certain that we continue that commitment, and we appreciate the journey.
Thank you very much for taking time to come to the United States and point out the important case for the work that the Kurds have done in Syria to help rid us all of ISIS, and for pointing out the other interests that will move in Russia, Iran, Assad, if we abandon what we have committed to. I think it's an important message that we need to send to Turkey and to President Erdogan, that we need to control the airspace, that we need to continue a ceasefire, we need to address the humanitarian situation there and prevent ethnic cleansing, and we need to, I believe we need to rescind the invitation of President Erdogan to come to the United States, because given what he's doing in Syria, I don't think we should be whining and dining him here in the United States.
I join in thanking you for telling us your story, which is the story of bravery of the fighters who are still our allies. And they should know we still consider ourselves, the American people, consider them our allies, our friends, and our fellow warriors in the fight against ISIS. What I feel in hearing your story is horror and shame. Horror that Americans in uniform have shed their blood only to see ISIS come back and make a mockery of their heroism. And shame that we are about to enable ethnic cleansing and genocide. We have vowed never again. And yet, we will be complicit if we fail to act. You come to us with real facts. People who have died as a result of the Turks' invasion already. Real names, real dates, real injuries and death. And each of them has a face and voice. And we will never forget them, but we also need to act. Stop Erdogan from coming to this country as our guest, impose strong sanctions on him and his henchmen directly, stop any sales of military items to them, and take any and every action we can to support your continued fight. That's our common resolve, and as you can see, Republicans and Democrats are together.
We are with you in this fight on a bipartisan basis. We want to keep an adequate number of U.S. troops on the ground working with our Syrian Kurds in their fight against ISIS. Very important, as we discussed, to maintain air control, and very important that we keep pressure on Turkey by moving this bipartisan sanctions bill. So I call Ilham Ahmed the golden ear of the Syrian people, the Syrian Kurds, because she's here at a critical moment for her people, just like Golden Ear many years ago came to the United States at a critical moment.
And we care more about your people than about the oil.
That's right. So,
Thank you.
we're happy to
Senator, any update on the state of the sanctions legislation that you're working on with Senator Graham? Can we expect a vote on it anytime soon? Do you have any word on that?
Well, we're all in this together, pushing hard. As you probably saw, the bill was held at the Senate desk. It was Rule 14, so that we have the opportunity to take that spot at any time. We're pushing hard. This is exactly why Ahmad is here, to let people know the urgency of the situation, and that we have to take all the measures we talked about.
Can you just describe what the sanctions would, or what your bill would actually do that would affect her situation?
Oh yes, absolutely. So what the bill would do is put in place immediately upon passage very tough sanctions on Turkey, and those sanctions can be only lifted after Turkey stops killing the Syrian Kurds, stops enabling the revival of ISIS, and takes their troops and their proxies back to where they were before they began the attack. The sanctions include very tough sanctions on all the top Turkish leadership, including President Erdogan. It calls for a complete ban in U.S. military sales to Turkey, but beyond that, it would sanction anybody anywhere in the world who sells military equipment to Turkey. It also sanctions the major Turkish-owned bank, Halk Bank, which was recently the subject of an indictment here in the United States. It also hits the energy sector by making it clear that anybody anywhere in the world who supplies oil or petroleum products to the Turkish military will be subject to U.S. sanctions. These are very hard-hitting sanctions, as you know. The Turkish economy right now is very weak. We are told that when these negotiations were happening recently in Ankara, the one thing that President Erdogan and Turkey was most worried about was the United States moving forward with very tough economic sanctions, which is why we have to move forward. And it's within Turkey's control whether they take effect or when they're lifted, if they take effect, because they just have to meet these conditions, which are very reasonable conditions going forward.
Trump said at a cabinet meeting today, I always said if you're going in, keep the oil. We'll work something out with the Kurds so that they have some money, so that they have some cash flow. Maybe we'll get one of our big oil companies to go in and do it properly. Do you guys have any reaction to that as a direct quote?
Well, let me just say what Senator Blumenthal did and emphasize the point. Our first priority is to protect people against brutal ethnic cleansing. That has got to be our top priority. As part of that, we can help the Syrian Kurds and others in the region, others in that part of Syria, better develop their oil fields as a source of revenue for the people in that part of Syria. That's fine. But our priority, our absolute priority, has to be to end the slaughter, stop the ethnic cleansing, and maintain the ceasefire and take the Turkish and their proxy forces out.
Last question.
President Ahmed, do you have a message for President Trump? Do you have anything that you'd like to say to him, or any message you'd like to send to him?
أريد أن أقول بأن بقرار الانسحاب هذا أدى إلى حدوث مجازر وإبادة في المنطقة.
I would say that the decision of announcement is a key to genocide or ethnic cleansing in our area.
حقيقة نحن في التاريخ دائما كنا نرغب أو نريد بالحصول على حقوقنا الطبيعية.
Through our history, we have always wanted to get our natural rights.
ودائما بقينا بين الدول بدون حماية.
And we have always lived alone between big states without any protection.
تعرضنا لمجازر مستمرة.
Through our history, we were always subjected to massacres and genocides.
هذه المرة مدينا يدنا مع الأمريكان نعمل سويا كي نحمي نفسنا من هكذا مجازر مرة أخرى.
We extended our hands to the Americans, knowing that it's gonna be never again, that we will never be subjected to ethnic cleansing and genocide.
لكن ما حدث آلمنا كثيرا.
What happened saddened us pretty much.
حيث الأطفال قتلوا.
Kids are being killed.
والنساء.
Women.
هجر أكثر من 400,000 من بيوتهم.
More than 400,000 people were displaced.
فتركيا هذا ما قامت به من مجازر.
This is what Turkey did.
وتتوعدنا مرة أخرى.
And they're threatening us every day.
بأنها ستهاجمنا وتقتلنا تقتل مئات الآلاف منا.
And they said threatening us, they want to attack us, they want to kill hundreds of thousands of us.
لذلك أطلب منهم.
This is why I'm asking President Trump
إيقاف هذه المقتلة.
To stop this massacres.
وإيقاف أردوغان عن هذا الهجوم.
To stop Erdogan from continuing with the attack.
ودعمنا في حل سياسي داخل الجغرافيا داخل الحدود السورية.
Help us to reach a political solution within the Syrian territories.
نحن أهل سلام.
We are people of peace, one peace.
ونبحث عن السلام والأمان بشكل
We always look for stability and peace.
سنكون مع أمريكا إلى النهاية.
We will stick to the United States forever.
لمجرد مساعدتنا في الحصول على حقوقنا المشروعة.
Just because they helped us, this will be thought.
وبناء سوريا الديمقراطية.
And to build a democratic Syria.
ولا نريد معارك مع أحد.
We don't want to fight anyone.
ولا نستهدف أمنا القومي لأي دولة جارة.
And we will never, and we have never targeted the national security of Turkey.
إنما نحن فقط نحمي نفسنا.
We are only protecting ourselves.
ونطلب دعم الأمن.
And we are calling for the US to support us, as we supported the US.
Let me just come back to the question about the oil field, because I think everybody should understand. We talk about the oil field in our conversation. Talk about the oil fields is a cruel distraction from the ongoing humanitarian crisis. Bloodshed and slaughter, women and children whose lives can never be recovered. The oil fields can always be started, just that they can stop. The amount of revenue from the oil fields is basically a rounding error in the United States military budget. So we should keep in mind the humanitarian crisis that is unfolding in real time in plain sight right before us.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.